This video is a very special message from the Clean Shaver family. Shave it up!
Hi!
Hi! You remember Noah? What did we do today? Or what did we do yesterday?
Where did we go?
Did we go to a party?
Yes.
Yeah, what did we do at the party?
No. Was it raining?
Was it raining? There was so much rain there. So much rain. But what did we do? We raised how much?
$6,000.
$6,000! Look over here! $6,000! That's so much money, huh?
Yes,
Is that a real number, or did Daddy and Mommy make that up?
That me and Daddy made it.
You and Daddy made it?
You and Daddy made it?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. With Noah's fundraiser, we raised over $6,000 just on our site, and our association raised over $25,000 with some other things, some donations and some silent auction items. We wanted to thank you, everybody, for your contribution. And can you say thank you?
Thank you, everybody.
Can you do how do you sign thank you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, so during my shave today, we wanted to let Noah say thank you to everybody, and we wanted to say thank you as well.
Big thank you.
Huge thank you. Everybody kept coming up to us at the event yesterday and just like, how did you do that?
How did you do
That's
it?
so awesome. And I literally, like, everybody that I talked to, I told them, I didn't do anything.
Posted one video.
I really didn't do anything. And they're all like, oh, no, you did so much. I'm like, no, I didn't. I really didn't. So during my shave, we just wanted to talk a little bit more about Prader-Willi syndrome and what life is like with Prader-Willi syndrome. I, of course, am going to be using the special Katie's Bubbles S'more Love for Noah. She loves smelling this. It seriously smells good enough to just take a big bite out of it, but don't do it. I'm not going to tell you how I know that it doesn't taste good, but don't do it. It smells awesome, but don't eat it. So I've got that. I've got, this is actually the same shave as yesterday. I've got my Semogue 730 HD Silver Tip Badger and my G-Bar, or Gem G-Bar, loaded up for my face. If we have time, I'll do a head shave too, and I'll use my Schick injector for that. Anyway, so while I'm getting set up here, Jenny.
You can talk about Prader-Willi syndrome. So Prader-Willi syndrome, if you read any of the information that Scott put in the links, it's a missing part of the 15th chromosome that can come about in different kinds of ways. It can be genetically, it can happen in a few different ways. But either way, it's just a deletion of a part of a chromosome. And it affects many processes in the body, the main one being the hypothalamus in your brain. It doesn't function quite correctly.
So the hypothalamus is the control center for all the automated processes in your body. So it keeps your heart beating, it keeps your lungs breathing, it keeps your stomach digesting, everything that's completely involuntary. And it automates all of that.
So, especially your hormone system.
Right, it regulates hormone release.
Yeah, all the release of hormones that is greatly affected by the dysfunction of the hypothalamus. And in Prader-Willi, it affects so many different things. It's really hard to sit down when someone asks me, oh, what's Prader-Willi syndrome? I'm like, well, do you want to sit here for the next half hour? Or can I tell you in 30 seconds? But one of the biggest ones that it affects is the release of growth hormone. They do release growth hormone, just not as much and not as efficiently, and their bodies don't know how to use it as well. So if you think of what growth hormone does, I don't think I know all the things that it does, but it regulates your muscle growth, your ability to build muscle, that muscle being, I don't know, useful, I guess you could say.
Muscular and skeletal growth.
Yes, exactly, that's a good one. So Prader-Willi children, especially before growth hormone was introduced as a normal therapy, were known for being very short in stature, and not just children, adults as well. Short in stature, very chubby, even if they weren't obese, which is happening more and more nowadays. They still can be very just round and chubby in appearance. They don't have a good way of regulating their body fat. Their body fat distribution is off, kind of shaped like like a normal adult, but shaped more like a baby, proportion of the limb proportion and the body fat distribution. So there's that, and then also if you think about your muscles, when your muscle tone, that kind of thing, when it's not performing correctly, it affects your metabolism. And that obviously affects so many different things. For example, for Noah, he, as a baby and as a child, was not very active, had a hard time learning how to walk, crawl and walk, hard time building the core muscles that helped him to do those things. He had crossed eyes. He had a surgery for that as well, and he wears glasses. And they said that was probably related to the same thing, that the muscles in his eyes weren't working correctly. They weren't as strong as they should be. His speech issues can be attributed somewhat to muscle tone as well. They call it hypotonia when they're floppy like that at birth, and that kind of changes a little bit as they get older, but in general they just don't have the strength to do what other people do. So they get tired very easily, they sleep a lot, don't get as much exercise, and then with the low metabolism, we've talked about that before, it can be a recipe for disaster.
So that's one of the major things with the reason that they have a difficult time maintaining body weight. The other is that they're always hungry. So there are a lot of different theories about, they haven't quite figured out exactly why people with Prader-Willi syndrome are always hungry. They don't really know.
So let's see. So those are some of the physical things. Obviously, there are some cognitive delays as well. Mm-hmm. Prader-Willi is a spectrum disorder. It is not on the autism spectrum, which most people associate the word spectrum with autism. There's a lot of confusion there. But it is a spectrum disorder in the sense that there are high functioning and low functioning. Mm-hmm. We believe that Noah is on the higher end. Before we even got the diagnosis, he was behind developmentally, and that continued after the diagnosis as well. And he still is behind somewhat. It's kind of an odd mixture of being behind in some ways, but also just like a 6-year-old in other ways, and that can make it difficult. He's in kindergarten, and he's doing very well.
And he can do well reading. He does math. He reads. He does all that kind of thing. All those kinds of things that a normal kindergartner would do, but his social skills and his cognition in that regard is delayed.
In general, it's really hard to look at him and put your finger on what exactly is behind and what's not. But it's just that in a lot of ways he just needs some help, and we don't always know exactly what he's going to excel at and what's going to be difficult. One big issue that almost all Prader-Willi children deal with is a heightened sense of anxiety. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it mostly in terms of the food, but it's with everything. They have a very difficult time with unknowns. Obviously, almost all children thrive on structure and routine, but these kids need it
even more
incessantly. And especially as related to food, as long as they know when their next meal is coming and that they are going to get a meal, they're generally okay. But sometimes, you hear of kids that, Mom, what's for dinner? When are we having dinner? Are you going to make dinner yet? Where's dinner? What's for dinner, Mom? Have you made dinner yet? Are you starting to make dinner? It's kind of this, and that can be related to any activity, anything that's causing their anxiety. One of the bigger issues that we deal with apart from the food is behavioral issues, and that recently for us has become more of an issue, and that can be almost the bigger problem sometimes. So when we try to tell people what it's like to live with Prader-Willi syndrome, it's really difficult sometimes because they don't see Noah as being that different from other kids. He seems quite normal.
On the outside, he looks
fairly normal.
Yeah.
But once you start living with it and seeing the very particular nuanced differences in our life and in his life, it can be quite a challenge. He's starting to food seek more. We're contemplating pretty quick here that we need to start locking up our fridge and our pantry and our cupboards. For a long time, parenting Noah when he was young was very much just
good parenting practices.
Good parenting techniques, but exaggerated. We had to really use them in excess and really work hard with them. Not that we were great parents, but we really had to apply those techniques very thoroughly. And he responded very well to that. Things that you would do with a normal child or a typical child, the behavioral modification or discipline, what you would normally tend toward, do not work. They respond very differently to typical parenting techniques. And so that's been really difficult for us as well, relearning how we want to parent and what he needs from us as parents. It's been hard. So again, it's on the outside, sometimes it doesn't seem that different from other children or other families, but within our home, it's quite a struggle sometimes.
So one of the reasons we really wanted to do this video, and thank everybody for your contribution to spread awareness, is because with events like this, the fundraiser that we went to yesterday, this thing, right? So
whenever we go to events.
Yeah, whenever we go to events.
Where there are a large number of Prader-Willi individuals gathered.
There are, we have
it's a
people with
spectrum.
Prader-Willi syndrome that are all over the spectrum, not only with development and their
high functioning, low functioning,
their functions, but also with age. So we see babies with Prader-Willi syndrome, and we also see grown adults, 50, 60-year-old people with Prader-Willi syndrome. And it's really eye-opening to see the stark differences that there are between the older generations and the rising generation.
So the very first event that we ever went to after diagnosis was a little alarming, actually.
We were a little scared coming away from it.
We had a lot of people tell us, now don't freak out about this, because this older generation of Prader-Willi individuals, they did not have the growth hormone therapy or the other treatments that you guys have access to and will have access to. That there's a big difference that's been made just in the last 20 years.
So we saw some of the, we see the struggles that some of these people are having, but then we see the younger generation. We're talking like 20, 25 and younger.
Yeah.
And these people that have had growth hormone therapy and that have had so much more awareness that is driven from fundraisers like this.
And a lot of them,
people like you.
A lot of them look very good. They have great body composition. You can still tell that they're special needs, but they're doing very well. They're they have the food seeking issues, but it's not out of control. There aren't many that are very obese. There's a lot of progress being made.
Right.
And then we stop to think about our generation. There are so many more different therapies that are being experimented with and researched and used, and it's really encouraging. It's difficult to go to those things and to see the different spectrum of people, but it's so encouraging to know that we...
Did I miss a spot back here?
No.
Okay.
Just in trance.
I'm a little tight quarters here. I can't reach like I usually do.
But we have even more access to even more things that we don't know what his prognosis is, but the chances of it being good are much higher, and that's very encouraging.
Yep.
But the big thing that we're trying to drive home here is that it is through fundraising like we have done these last few weeks, through the generosity of all you people that are watching and everyone who's donated and anyone who watches these videos and hears about it and contemplates it and then shares it with someone else. The more awareness there is, the more donations there are, and the more research can be done, and the more studies that can happen, and the more access we have to things, and just the better quality of life in general. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the things for our son that we do if it weren't for the efforts of everyone. Yes.
There's no way for us to sufficiently communicate how grateful we are for everyone's contribution, everyone's donations, time, effort.
We still are like, does this really happen?
Shock.
Did this really happen?
We are in absolute shock, and I myself, I'm a crybaby, and so I get emotional when I talk about it. My dad does the same thing. She's not. I'm the crybaby of the family. But it really has just been such an amazing experience. So heartwarming, and seriously, my faith in humanity has been restored. We just want to thank everybody for everything. Your contributions, your time, your taking the time to learn about this. I mean, it's kind of a obscure condition that not a lot of people know about. But
it's not 1 in 15 or 20,000.
1 in every 15,000 or so. Now you know somebody that has Prader-Willi syndrome. Now you can say you've heard of it.
Yes.
Virtually, you've never met him, but we just want to send our love, Noah's love for all of you, and our appreciation for everything you've done for us. It really has been absolutely amazing.
Not sure how else to say it.
Yeah. Your donations are benefiting hundreds of lives,
not just Noah.
Thousands of lives.
It's definitely benefiting Noah, but it is benefiting at least 50 other kids in Utah, at least.
And it's a huge blessing. So thank you. Thank you all so much. We love you all. This has been an awesome thing. And I'll be doing the raffle. So I'm sure people will be asking me about that. So we have a lot of great sponsors for this raffle. I'll be doing that here in the next day or so as soon as I get a chance to get everything arranged. That'll be coming out, forthcoming very soon. So keep an eye peeled on my channel. I'll be posting a video when I announce everything, and we'll have some good stuff to go around. So anyway.
We'll see you next time. Thank you all.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Be smooth. See you next time.